Hey, Dr. John here with LifeSpa Ayurveda. I want to talk about the 10 Ayurvedic tips for better bowel movements. You know, up to 27% of the population have issues with their elimination. Laxatives are clearly not the answer. Many of them are irritants for the intestinal lining, which cause reactive mucus and desensitize the intestinal tract to actually have a regular bowel movement on its own. Many of them distend the bowel and weaken the bowel, again, making it harder in the long run to have better bowel movements. Things like magnesium, which can work great in the beginning, over time can pull water off the stool and actually demineralize you in the long run. So that's not the solution for your bowel function, is just to live on magnesium citrate. There's better ways to do it from the Ayurvedic perspective. So we're going to dig into that now. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. And if you're on my website at lifespa.com, you can read all the science behind these 10 tips for better bowel movements. And while you're there, check out our Ayurvedic store, all our organic Ayurvedic products, and sign up for our newsletter, which you get all this information with all the ancient wisdom and modern science together every week. All right, here we go, digging in. The first thing, I wrote an article a while back called Don't Suppress These Natural Urges. In Ayurveda, there's 14 natural urges that we're not supposed to suppress. And when you read the Vedic text, it says that for every condition that you can imagine, the first thing it says to fix it is don't suppress natural urges. And I used to just think, how obvious is that? But when you think about how often do you suppress an urge to go to the bathroom, an urge to pee, an urge to poo, an urge to sneeze, an urge to cry, there are many, almost all of those natural urges, and there's many more, read the article, that really we need to look at. And the link is there in the article about elimination on my website at lifespa.com. So that's one thing, simple but profoundly effective in the long run. Number two, stress. Stress has been shown to linked to weakened or sluggish or slow bowel movement. Studies have shown for like in meditation techniques, 6 out of the 7 studies that were done on meditation show that they significantly improve bowel movements, right? We don't think that I can meditate and then go to the bathroom better, but the science is there. 6 out of 7 studies did that. Another thing, your diet. A Vata balancing diet. In Ayurveda, your intestinal tract is the seat of Vata, the seat of dryness, the seat of cold and dry like winter. And when you eat cold and dry foods, you aggravate Vata, dry it out even more, which makes it more problematic. So warm soups and stews and cooked foods are actually much better for your bowel function and for your elimination. So that's important. An herb that we've all heard about, probably called Triphala, has lots and lots of polyphenols, has 3 bitter fruits that are very effective at supporting bowel function, and they've actually been shown to act as prebiotics and increase the natural proliferation of better bugs like bifidobacteria, lactobacillus in your intestinal tract. So Triphala is not only a bowel tonifier to tonify the bowel, help you go to the bathroom, but it also activates and it supports the proliferation of your own good microbiome, which is kind of really cool. Sometimes Triphala, because there are just 3 bitter astringent roots, they can be a little bit drying for the intestinal tract. So at LifeSpa, we formulated something called Elim Roman numeral number 1, which has half of its Triphala, the other half are soluble fibers like slippery element, licorice, that actually act as a lubricant to keep the intestinal tract sort of moist, which is very, very important. The other piece that people don't know, the number 1 regulator of your bowel function is your bile flow. No bile, no poop. It's pretty much that simple. There's a lot to learn about bile and gallbladder function and liver function, how it all works. I've written many articles about that, diving deep into this topic, but you should just know that there are certain foods called cholagogues that are really good to help increase bile flow. The more bile you make, the more cleaning of your intestinal tract you have, and the better regulation of your bowel movements. So that's really important as well. My favorite cholagogue drink is what we call ABC juice, which is apple, beet, and celery. You can blend it, juice it, you can put it in a pot, soup, and steam it and make a soup out of it. You can do any way you like. It's great. Artichokes, turmeric, all natural cholagogues that work very, very effectively. Fenugreek, a powerful one. We have an herb called beet cleanse, which has got beets and fenugreek and cinnamon and shilajit. All of them are what we call in Ayurveda lehana, which means they scrape and they clean the intestinal tract and support better bowel movement. So that you can take something like that before your meals, which activates the flow of your bile, so you have better bowel function and better digestion as well. Soluble fiber. There's insoluble fiber, which is the roughage, which is sort of like cleaning and scrubbing, and like celery or roughage like leafy greens and things like that. But soluble fiber are harvested in the winter. Insoluble, spring and summer. Soluble come from seeds and grains and nuts and things like that. When you grind up all the grains, you get this slimy, oatmeal-y kind of soluble fiber, which coats the intestinal lining and creates a really great environment for the good bugs to proliferate. Plus it soothes and heals like a big Band-Aid over your intestinal lining, which can get very dry because of stress and improper food. So soluble fiber, I've written articles about that, and also there's links there to this article at LifeSpa.com, so check that out as well. But soluble fiber is the winter fiber of choice. So you want to make sure you're getting plenty of that. Chia, flax, okra, oatmeal, grains, all that soluble stuff. We have a drink called the slippery elm prebiotic, which is slippery elm, licorice, and marshmallow root, which you boil down, make a thick, slimy, viscous tea, and you drink that really to completely heal and seal your intestinal tract. It's one of my favorite Ayurvedic products that we have here at LifeSpa.com. Colonizing versus transient probiotics. Most of the probiotics you take actually go right through you, and they're transient, and they work. There's good science behind them, but you have to keep taking the probiotic for the rest of your life, which I never really agreed with. I never thought that was really right. You should be able to get on them, maybe restore a natural microbiome and get off. So I waited until I could find a probiotic that had science to prove that the probiotic actually adhered to the intestinal tract and proliferated its own growth of a healthy, new, better microbiome. And our probiotics, our Flora Restore products and our Gut Revival products, all of them have a handful of colonizing probiotics like Bifidobacteria HN019 have been proven to adhere to the intestinal tract and increase the proliferation of permanent bugs by 40 to 60%. So probiotics work, and that Flora Restore product, those probiotics have been shown to increase your transit time, how quickly things go from the top to the bottom, by 56%, which is pretty amazing with a particular probiotic. And it's a permanent colonizing bug that's gonna not just disappear when you stop taking it. That's the best part. You take it for a month or two or three and you're done. The other ones are exercise, study after study after study. More exercise, the better your bowel movements, that's obvious. But also exercise after you eat your food. In Ayurveda, it's called Shatapavali, which means take a walk after you eat, because that movement is critical for the whole process of your digestive system and so much more. I wrote a whole article just on Shatapavali at LifeSpa.com. Water, mild dehydration has been shown to cause lack of good bowel function. So you obviously really do need to stay hydrated and decaffeinate yourself. If that coffee is something that you wake up thinking about, then it's got a hook into you. And that caffeine is an irritant to the bowel, and it can dehydrate the bowel, desensitize the bowel, and make your constipation over time more chronic. Even though it helps you go, in the long run, it'll help you not go. So think long-term, not short-term, for the effect of caffeine on your bowel function. I've written a lot of articles about the good, the bad, and the ugly of caffeine and coffee, so you should really learn more about the caffeine from the science and the Ayurvedic perspective. All right, thanks for listening. I think that's enough for today. I hope you enjoyed this. Lots of tips on the article. Go to LifeSpa.com and check out the article with all the science, because that's what we're about here at LifeSpa.com, is the ancient Ayurvedic wisdom and the modern science to back it up. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard. Do you like this video? Don't forget to subscribe and share.
This recording is brought to you by LifeSpa, where ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets modern science. Get access to free health video newsletters by Dr. John at LifeSpa.com. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.